3 races remain in the AT&T Champ Car World Series season. From the legendary facility that is Nazareth, now to the Mile High racetrack, we arrive to Denver Motorsports Park for 50 laps on this 3.75-mile Roval combination. It's been weather-filled throughout the weekend. Qualifying rained out for the first time in over 4 years to leave us with the entry points to determine the starting grid. That puts all the championship contenders at the front of the field. It's going to be a slugfest here in Denver. Welcome everyone to ABN Sports and their coverage of the AT&T Champ Car World Series and the IndyCar World Championship all season long. The story has twisted and it's turned going through this season. What was a domination early on by Kuni Kinoshita has now lent its hand to 2 drivers that were not expected to be heavy favorites going into this season. They now lead the field with Nicole Lechty and Sakura Ishibashi. 3 wins apiece for both of those drivers at the front of the field. Kinoshita 6 wins in 17 races leading to this point, but a hard fall off at the end of the season so far has put Kinoshita down to 4th behind Thomas Rogers. That's how the top 4 in this field currently stack up. But as we mentioned, 30 cars, all of it determined by entry points, and it is a wild turn of events with how this grid looks now with qualifying rained out. We had pre-qualifying on Friday morning. Everything else on Friday was rained out. We had a practice session yesterday morning. Qualifying rained out. It rained this morning. The track, pretty green, pretty fresh, pretty cold. That's going to have some things to say about how this race goes on. We talk about Nicole Lechty and Sakura Ishibashi at the front of the field. That's on points. Top 7 at the bottom of your screen. Ishibashi behind Lechty by 28 points. Rogers behind by 41. Kinoshita behind by 43. Nasaja Vulicevic in row 3 alongside Alicia Kovalkiewicz. They are top 6. Artem Kozlov in 7th. For Kozlov and Kovalkiewicz to keep their championship ambitions alive, they need to maintain a giant gap. They need to somehow get ahead of Lechty, get ahead of Ishibashi. They need to win this race and hope that some bad luck befalls the race leaders. You cannot enter Night City in a week's time with more than 100 points between you and the championship leader if you want to have a chance at the championship in the last 2 rounds in California. Artem Kozlov in row 4 alongside Evangeline Porter. BK Glover rounding out the top 10 with Simona Leroux in that group. Just outside the top 10 where you start seeing most of the striker cars. 3 of them in the top 14, 11th, 12th, and 14th. Kurachenko and Michelin in row 6. Keisha Fox, the second Cherokee GP car, in row 7 alongside Elise Alexander. Very consistent for that team, just not where they wanted to be. The development freeze hurt them a lot as far as where they thought they could achieve. They want to be back in the top 10 next year. Can they work on being in the top 10 here today? They're in range to do so. Row 8, Asher Crane and Mia Valdez. Mia Valdez couldn't qualify on Saturday. Pre-qualified in to get into the field. Then it was determined based on points there. Valdez starting in row 8 alongside Asher Crane. Wyatt Jones, who had a pole position a week ago at Nazareth, couldn't qualify for that pole position again here in Denver. He's looked strong on the road courses as of late. Expect that 25 car to move through the field as he starts in row 9 alongside Cameron Jackson. Asada Quito and Esther Hofson, they make up the top 20. And then you look at the last 5 rows in the field. Shufan Zhang makes her return after being injured in Motegi. She pairs alongside the 88 car Bianca Lucero, who's filling in for the still injured Isabel Espinoza, who was also injured in that crash in Motegi so long ago. Marcus Petrovich and Rex Riley in row 12. Shinichi Kamaya and Anastasius von Sonnen in row 13. Kage Kobayashi, Sakura Kurikita, row 14. And the most decorated last row in the field, 5 championships between Stephanie Porter-Kelly and Andrew Draco. They're in row 15 based on entrant points. Draco in the new 41 car that has not started until today. Porter-Kelly in that 10 car that was raced last week at Nazareth. We're seconds away from the famous words in motorsports, so let's send it trackside for the command.
Drivers, start your engines.
And just like that, the racing begins with the formation lap here. The Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 pace car will lead us to green. Again, very long road course, very long formation lap here. 3.75 miles. It is the longest track on this season's calendar. One of the longest in North America, behind just that of Virginia International Raceway over in Southern Virginia on that North Carolina border, and Road America. Road America just over 4 miles in length. It's longer than Circuit of the Americas. It's longer than Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course. This is an engine that has already expired on the formation. Who is that that's expired? It is Esther Hofson's engine that is gone. So we're going to have 29 take the start of the race here. Esther Hofson not in good shape here. The 28 car in trouble to kick things off. Hofson moving out of the way, back of the field. Smart move. But whatever it is, there is a very bad issue with that 28 machine. So Hofson will not be able to take the green flag here in Denver, it doesn't look like. Talk about some of the appearances here of Denver. For those that did not see it in 2021 when we were here last, it is a very magical facility, but you saw the storm clouds off in the distance. Rain, an ever constant threat here for today's race. Hoping the weather stays clear for an hour and a half of racing at least. Very unique road course here, 3.75 miles here, very undulating. It's a large oval that they have the space to work in. The oval itself here in Denver, 2.28 miles of super speedway. One of the most unique infield portions of a roval that we've seen in quite some time. With the elevation change, has a little bit of that format, almost like Daytona, but they've really gone and added a character. They've added elevation. They've added the undulations, the ups and the downs there in the infield. That makes it so challenging. Obviously, the bank corners there in the infield as well. Keep it very fast and flowing as well. Lap times about 1:39 in practice yesterday. Again, we're expecting times to be a little bit slower because everything was washed out overnight and into this morning. But still expecting about 1 minute 40, 1:41, so about 100 seconds or so a lap. This still could be a very fast race. Chevy pace car goes into pit lane. Nicole Lectie and Sakura Ishibashi at the front of the field to get us started. Green flag is in the air. The Grand Prix at Denver is underway. And we talk about the Super Speedway, how much the Super Speedway is in use, all of it. You can run up to the blue. You cannot run onto the blue. That separates pit entry or pit exit from the track. Everyone makes it through for the most part. No! Trouble on the exit of turn number 3 and into 4. And they all scatter. Huge trouble. Caution's going to be out. Several cars involved. This gives Velisevich the lead of the race. The points leader involved, Nicole Lectie, in the sand in turn 4. Velisevich through. There's Michelin through. As well as Kamaya. There's Lucero. Porter Kelly ahead of Glover. There's Porter. Still a mixed bag of cars here. There's Ishibashi, who's recovered. Everyone's still trying to make their way through. A lot of damage on some cars, Kenosha's car included. I see some cars still lingering. Blown tire there for Alexander in the 11. That could be retirement. Lectie got that car out of the sand somehow, but you see the damage on the side of that car. Rogers also involved. All of the points setters going into this race involved in a lap 1 incident as the caution waves. They race back to the caution line. It'll be Velisevich that leads the field to the caution here over Artyom Kozlov. Michelin up to 3rd. Trouble early on in this race. Hofson out with a gearbox failure. So the gearboxes went wrong on the 28. Again, Rogers trying to make his way in. Trouble for Alexander. Car losing everything there, and trouble steering there. Saw Alexander clip the pit entry. Damage for the 11 car almost certainly is going to result in that 11 car being out of this race. Alexander, and we'll go back and look at that opening lap. It seemed like they were getting through turn 3, which was a problem corner in 2021. It looked like they were getting through that okay, and then it all went so terribly wrong. 3 wide into turn 3 almost never works. We're going to pause it here and go back and kind of just go frame by frame. Oh my goodness, that is Shufan Zhang hopping over the curbing. If I'm not mistaken, that is Shufan Zhang. That went for a one of the wildest rides I think we've seen. Same with Asada Quito and that Konica Minolta 86. Both of them go for an absolute wild ride. That's where the accident starts. Are they forced over that corner? Quito is. It looks like Quito bounces off and gets turned over that. And Shufan Zhang may have just followed suit. They're trying to avoid whatever it was. Wyatt Jones, a huge accident there. You see where Mia Valdez got just completely pancaked. There's Alexander. And then you see everything going on here into turn 4. Everyone just scatters because you see cars in the grass. And that's something very important to note. Off track is still damp, especially the grass. It completely slick and wet. Normally, if you get into the grass, it'll slow you down a little bit. It'll soften the impact. It'll give you a little bit of drag. It'll reduce the speed of that car. No, it's just a slip and slide on the grass, and really on the painted surface you see here, the blue, which is why I said the blue, not a part of the racing surface. It's not dry, for one, and you see that. Although you see, it looks like there's just a combination of things going on here. Yeah, it looks like Porter got a piece of this. Yeah, Porter got a piece of it with Michelin. But then you see there trouble. That is Glover getting turned by Crane. Turns both the Cherokee GP cars there, Kovalkiewicz and Fox. You see the leaders get involved in that. Cars just all over the place. And you see cars drifting into the sand. There's Shufan Zhang still recovering after sliding through the grass out of turn 3. Overall, just a disaster in this race. So a couple cars out, some cars leaving pit lane now. There's Andrew Draco. Center of your screen. Elise Alexander officially out. Same with Mia Valdez. Some cars coming down pit lane. Matheus Michelin, who got a piece of contact there with Porter, relinquishing what was 3rd place. But you see how many cars came down pit lane still. So Michelin's still in a pretty decent spot. It's Velicevic, Kozlov, then Kamaya, then Bianca Lucero, Anastasia Sponsonen. There is Kage Kobayashi ahead of Sakura Ishibashi. Then you see there's the 23 of Sakura Kunikita. There's Matheus Michelin in the 60, Cameron Jackson in the 19. Cameron Jackson, I believe, is going to be in the top 10 here. There is Marcus Petrovic. Andrew Draco ahead of Evangeline Porter, former teammates there. Stephanie Porter Kelly, sisters there, the 81 and the 10, Porter and Porter Kelly. Then you have Glover. There's Rex Riley. There is Shufan Zhang, Wyatt Jones, Simona Leroux, Astor Crane. There's Alicia Kovalkiewicz, Asada Quito, the 18 of Kinoshita. Defending world champion out the back of the field, but not alone. Big company there. There's Kurachenko, there's Rogers, and there's the championship leader at the very tail of the field. There's Keisha Fox 1 lap down after that car got stuck in the sand. That car is still running. But now for Nicole Lechty, nightmare scenario for that car. Last of the cars on the lead lap. 3 cars out, 1 car a lap down. That leaves 26 on the lead lap. Lechty in 26th. Big moments here. Still under caution for the first time today for the lap 1 crash in turns 3 and 4 that collected almost half the field, if not more than that, with all the cars that got contact. With that being said, only 3 cars out, only 2 for the accident. Esther Hobson out with a gearbox failure on the opening lap. Alexander and Valdez, the only 2 cars out of this race because of the crash itself. But you do have to wonder with some of the damage that some of these cars are facing now, if they have the pace on the super speedway. A lot of high speed here. Obviously, it's a track of compromise with the infield the way it is. Still a lot of speed, still a lot of top end speed required here to run the oval portions of this facility. Caution still out on the caution light still out on the Chevy Camaro Z01 pace car. Likely to clean up with all the grass and dirt that was flowing up by all the cars hitting the grass there in 3 and 4, and especially in the sand as well. Try to make sure that the racing surface is as clean as possible. Again, off track, it's very sketchy. The pit exit line, the pit entry and exit have been cleared. They've been dried. That blue paint has not been. Obviously, with how much rain that we've had over the weekend, the grass, not a great place to be either. And we saw that. So caution out for the first time. You see all the skid marks there across the runoff. Velisevich leads the way, being officially marked as the driver that's led every lap so far. Lights out on the Chevy Camaro ZL1 pace car. It means we're about to go racing once again. Let's run through the field a little bit while we've got a little bit of time. Velisevich leads the way over Artyom Kozlov. 2 rookies leading the Rookie of the Year standings. This is going to be an interesting fight between these two. Both of them with a race win. Velisevich a race win at Homestead. Artyom Kozlov tended with 2 wins in their career already. They won at Fontana in 2021, filling in for Sakura Ishibashi. More importantly, they won the Indianapolis 500 this year. So they're 1-1 on this season. Shinichi Kamaya in 3rd for Speed Demon Motorsports. Bianco Lucero for Obsidian Racing Team in 4th. 5th place is the 76 of Anastasius von Sonnen. 6th place, Kage Kobayashi for Vante Racing. Then it's Sakura Ishibashi for Cat Devil Racing in the 7th position. 8th place, Sakura Kunikita for Team Sakura. Matthias Michelin sitting in 9th place. Then Cameron Jackson in 10th. 11th place is the 21 of Marcus Petrovich. 12th, Andrew Draco. Evangeline Porter in the 13th position. Stephanie Porter Kelly in 14th. So both the drivers that started on the last row near the top 10 already. BK Glover in the 15th position. Then it's Rex Riley in the 16th position. Shifan Zhang on return. A wild ride already in this race, sitting 17th. Wyatt Jones in 18th. Simona LaRoe for Red Bull Highlight Racing in 19th. Then it's Astra Crane in 20th. Alicia Kovalkiewicz 21st. 22nd is Asada Kito. 23rd, the reigning world champion Kuni Kinoshita. Then it's Natalia Kurachenko in 24th. 25th, Thomas Rogers 26th. Last car on the lead lap is your world championship leader, Nicole Lechty. 1 lap down after being stuck in the sand in the runoff is Keisha Fox. There's your run through the field. 3 cars out of this race: Elise Alexander, Mia Valdez, and Esther Hofson. Hofson now with a gearbox failure. Alexander and Valdez out officially due to the lap 1 crash to kick off this race. Rookies lead the field, but they're rookies with a lot of potential and talent, battling over Rookie of the Year honors. They will lead the field to green. Pace car pulls into pit lane. We'll see the green flag fly once again. Racing back underway in Denver. Good launch there by Velisevich. Kamaya looks to the outside. Here comes von Sonnen on Lucero. 3 wide for the back as Porter and Porter Kelly both go around Draco and Petrovich. Everyone sitting it into turn 3 this time. Not a lot of 3 wides going on there. And everyone taking it easy. Heavy braking there for Quito and for Keisha Fox. But everyone's still rolling at this point through turns 4 and 5, now towards turn 6. One of the banked corners on this racetrack here. Not a lot of banking, but some. Enough to make 3 wide like that possible as Michelin, Jackson, and Porter go down the hill through the S's. Porter charging her way to the top 10 and then some. Already the inside of the 17 of Ishibashi and around Kunikita. Good wide shots here, showing you just how complex this infield section of the Roval is. Ishibashi also got around Kunikita. See how spread out it is in the top 5. Velisevich leads over Kozlov, over Kamaya, then von Sonnen up to 4th. Von Sonnen has not had a podium since the 2020 season when he was a rookie at Pocono. Back in it here in 4th, ahead of Lucero, who now leads the onslaught of cars, 5th on down. Good wide shots here at Denver. Really gives you a scale on how large this facility is. Sold out fans. Stuck around, hoping they would see what we are seeing right now, and that is racing on track. A very intense but very action-packed Sunday for racing. Kobayashi holding off Porter and Ishibashi at this point in time. Lucero holding off all three. Down the hill through the S's. Then you have Draco right there behind Kunikita, ahead of Michelin, ahead of Jackson, and there's Porter Kelly, the three-time champion. Trying to make some inroads here. Looks to the inside there of Jackson. Not very successful in that attempt. Still giving it a go. Draco to the inside of Kunikita into the start of the chicane. Clears before the chicane exits. Whoa, he almost lost it there. Remember, it's still damp off the racing surface. You clip one of those wet spots, it could be a disaster. Draco got away with that one. Kozlov's gotten ahead of Velicevic here. The rookies have exchanged the lead. So Kozlov leading a lap, their first of the day. Now on lap number 8. Velicevic still going to fight for it. Team battle here for the race lead between these two as they get back onto the oval section. Kamaya holding in there strong. There's Von Sonnen. Highest he's been all season long. Trying to hold off Lucero and Porter. Here they go. Had a really good restart, but I think now the pace advantage beginning to go away on that 76 car. Here comes Porter to the inside of Lucero, looking for 4th place. This is a really good opportunity for Porter to go after a potential race lead, potentially. That's the key word. Porter up to 4th, ahead of Lucero, with cars between Porter and Ishibashi. There's Draco battling with Michelin. Michelin in 9th, Draco in 10th. Battle for 9th going on right now. Kunikita 11th. Porter Kelly's around Jackson, and then Shifan Zhang back up running through the field. And keep an eye on the 62 Akeisha Fox. A lot of pace in the 62 car. Stuck a lap down, unfortunately. That could be a bit of a hassle for some of these cars. Fox has gotten around Glover. Glover trying to get back around to really go after the 2 Dragon Motorsports cars ahead of him and ahead of Fox. Cars largely sticking together. Not a lot of people straggling and struggling. You see the 3 cars really struggling a little bit. And that's Crane, who had a significant amount of damage. You saw there with Kinoshita, who had a lot of damage early on this race. There's Rex Riley as well, who's struggling. Another car that's struggling to get through the field. Points leader, Nicole Lechty. As things stand, would not be points leader out of this race. Still a lot of race left, though. Kozlov leads. Then it's Velicevic, then it's Kamaya still. Kamaya trying to hold on to a podium. Would be a rare good result for the team that has struggled so much this season. Has gone through most of the season with only 1 car running. Akira Sato struggling to qualify into these races week in, week out. Porter in 4th, Lucero in 5th, Michelin around, Von Sonnen with Draco now trying to do the same. into turn 3. Hard pass to make there through 3, but Draco's got the pace advantage. For Phantom Motors, does get through there. Can Von Sonnen get back to him? No. Can't get the power down. Next up on the list to go at bat towards Von Sonnen is Ishibashi, and then Kobayashi. Draco still battling with Michelin there as they both move up more places here. Lucero losing touch with Porter and the top 4. Draco's about to be battling for the top 5. And it was very important, you know, talking to Andrew Draco after Nazareth when it was confirmed that he would be out of that Dragon Motorsports car. He didn't know how he would feel. It's been a very long season being in that fill-in car. He didn't know if it was him or the car that just wasn't cooperating with how he wanted it to handle. Obviously a 2-time world champion, he knows what it's like to be successful. He felt demoralized. He felt like he had been past it. Looking at the early goings here in this race, no, he's not past it. Attacking Michelin, this is for 6th place on track here. He started in 30th, dead last in this field because of points. Anywhere but right now, doing a fantastic job into the 6th position with Bianca Lucero. Up next for Obsidian Racing Team. Cars in bunches further behind, everyone trying to get around Von Sonnen. Kobayashi next in line there as Ishibashi fights off Porter Kelly. Von Sonnen getting a chance to really kind of show his mettle and equipment that really isn't up there to be top 10. Still doing a good job with it. Draco right to the gearbox of Lucero. Doing outstanding so far. Lucero holding on to the 5th position, trying to hold on as much as she can, but a learning experience for Lucero. 2-time Atlantic champion. Really kind of thrown into the wolves. When Sakura Ishibashi got injured to San Marinis. Right now, trying to hold off a 2-time champion. That defense is going to come to an end though. Draco way better off of the infield back onto the oval, way better on the acceleration. Gets to top 5. Ahead of Lucero, and now the top 4 on his sights. There is the 3 of Kozlov as Crane, the next car up the road. Crane just 18 seconds behind the race leaders though, as things are being reported right now. So still some time before they have to worry about lap traffic. We do have to worry about pit stops though. Pit stops. 2 pit stop race expected in this event. But the caution though could push things a little bit. Of course, top 2 on your screen right now did not take pit stops there on that opening stanza. So they will have to come in earlier than, say, most of the field that did come in to get some tires and to just make sure that they weren't affected by any debris that was put on track there in that lap 1 crash. Really good stuff so far, though. Kozlov still leads the way over Vulicevic. Kamaya now under threat from Porter. You talk about how important this race was for Porter, especially with Lechty where she is. Lechty's still down in 23rd. That's 7 points. It's 54 race win. 54 is the max bonus points, which you can't really get if you're not on pole position. That would be a huge swing in points there for Porter. Almost could keep her championship hopes alive in that swing with how things are looking right now. Looking further ahead here, once again at the race leaders. Kozlov has led the same amount of laps there as Vulicevic in this race so far. 6 laps apiece for both of them. On lap 13 now. Draco clear for 5th and on his own for 5th. So he's got a lot of pace in that 41 car here today. That car normally is 31 for Captain Hart. It's the 41 for Draco. We'll see both of those cars, 31 and the 41, in California the last 2 weeks of the season. Catherine Hart and Andrew Draco, we'll see both of them. Tires reaching that point where they're beginning to fall off for some, and we're beginning to see some of the drivers that can really maximize the tire longevity. Look at Porticelli. Porticelli made a career out of making tires last way longer than they normally would. Porticelli attacking Kobayashi here through ovals turn 1 and 2. With now Ishibashi front and center in front of the 3-time world champion. Ishibashi going right after Von Sonnen. Von Sonnen holding on right now to the 8th position. Ishibashi in 9th. Porticelli up to 10th. Getting around Kobayashi there. Bianca Lucero doing a good job holding on to Draco at this point. Trying to get up to Kamaya, who's in 4th, and losing touch with Porter. Battle for the race lead. Velicevic took the lead back, but now here comes Kozlov to take it right back. Impulse versus Atomic. Team Impulse right back out in front. Just kind of browsing and perusing through the field here. You see Asher Crane back onto the oval, but lost touch with Riley and Kinoshita. Some drivers making their way through the chicane now. That's Wyatt Jones, that's Petrovic, and then there's Nicole Lecty. Lecty's going to gain 2 spots here on this lap from 23rd to 21st. Slowly making some inroads here, but then you see that giant gaggle of cars where you got Thomas Rogers in it. Kurachenko, I believe that's Quito as well that's in it. And then just ahead of them, you see Glover, Zhang, Jackson, Kovalkiewicz, and Leroux. So different crowds, mostly determined by damage received on lap 1. Still playing out here as this race goes along, and again, another caution changes everything in this race. Leroux's been, not Leroux, Lucero's been passed by Michelin. Michelin's up a spot to 6th. Von Sonnen still holding on to a position here. Here comes Porticelli on Ishibashi. Striker Motorsports. The 3-time world champion goes through. Again, for Ishibashi, she's taking it easy. She's in the catbird seat right now with Lecty right now in 21st. But Ishibashi needs to really secure things. You do not want to go into the most chaotic races of the season in Night City and in Fontana with just shoestrings as a championship lead. You really need to sort of pull that together, and right now struggling to do so. losing another spot there to Kunikita, who, to Kunikita's credit, has not had a lot of opportunities to fight like this before. Fighting now for an opportunity. We know that Team Sakura moving to the Challenger Series with a 3-car effort next season. Kunikita's time as a Champ Car competitor beginning to wind down as that team expands and Kunikita takes on other opportunities. A top 10 finish would be phenomenal for Kunikita. If something like that can take place. Right now, Kunikita, it's a Sakura and Sakura show. Kunikita ahead of Ishibashi. That is for the 10th spot too. So that is important. Because right now, as it sits, Lehti would still be the points leader by less than 10, but still the points leader. Lehti been passed there by Petrovic once again, still dealing with damage on that 78 machine as we peruse through the field. Petrovic taking on Kunikita. Ishibashi got around on the oval to get back to the top 10. Kobayashi wants a piece of the top 10 as well. It's the Glover leading the charge outside the top 10 in that different group. Draco is completely isolated now. They're in the top 5. Kamaya's holding on to Porter pretty well as they duke it out. They're 5 seconds though away from the leaders, which have been trading the lead back and forth here. Velicevic has begun to pull away with the laps led marker, 9 laps to 7 in favor of the Slovenian driver. Asumi Matsuo, the team principal for Team Impulse, quoted in the media this week saying, "We have one of the best lineups in the series. If our down year is having 3 cars in the top 10 in points comfortably, next year will be a breeze." Atomic Autosport moving to Ford engines as a factory program. Would love to disagree with that. Velicevic right now leading the way in that charge, but they've got 2 of their cars, both their cars in this race, in the top 10, in the top 3. Both on the podium right now. Porter in 3rd ahead of Kamaya. Really big day right now for Atomic as things sit. This is Porter's first race at Denver too. Last time we were here, Porter was still in the NAMRA Cup Series. How things have changed for Porter back in the Champ Car World Series where her career started. And on the podium right now ahead of Kamaya and then Draco in 5th. Michelin ahead of Lucero, who's being passed now by Von Sonen. Porter Kelly in pursuit. And then you see Ishibashi over Kobayashi and Kunikita. Von Sonen still showing some fight, but here comes Porter Kelly to the inside of Lucero in through turn 3 and cleared before turn 4. That 10 car also looking really hooked up at the moment. But Lucero going to try to fight back. Bosnian versus the San Marinese. All behind the Austrian driver of Von Sonen. Again, such a cool facility here, Denver Motorsports Park. These cameras do not do it justice. You see just how complex this road course is. You saw on the oval once again, that was Kozlov following Velicevic still. Porter Kelly trying to challenge and give pursuit to Von Sonen after getting around Lucero. Michelin further ahead, and then it's Draco in 5th. Porter has completely cleared and gotten away from Shinichi Kamaya. And the leaders continue their pull away right now. Velicevic leading the way. Has led 11 of the first 18 laps of this race. Kozlov there in second place. Porter there in third. And again, we just kind of look through and see the gaggle of cars here. Porter Kelly's gotten around Von Sonnen, importantly, in that fight, doing what Ishibashi could not do. Even further down the order here, Leroux continues to lead over Shufin Zhang. And now Kovalevich has also gone around Glover here. He's still one of the cars that's wounded in this field. Glover just trying to drive through it at this point. Cars going down the hill and now back up it. There's Rogers getting around. That is Asada Quito. Lechty and Jones have both gotten around Petrovich here. But that is outside the top 20. Nicole Lechty in 21st. Kind of browsing and perusing through the field here. There's Velisevich. There's Kozlov. Porter now beginning to gain a little bit on that battle at the front of the field. Kamaya in 4th. Draco in 5th. Closing in on Kamaya. Lap 20 underway. Front of the field, it's 12 laps to 7 in favor of Velisevich. Velisevich leads the way. And caution's out. Caution's out for the second time, and it's for Rogers. Thomas Rogers in trouble. What has happened to the two of Thomas Rogers? For the second time, we have a caution. Looking to see what happened to the 2 car. One of the championship contenders with big time trouble. Does he just make a mistake here? Or does the engine go away? Not a lot there giving as far as the power, the lift off there. He's looks like he's got a little bit more of it here. Oh, this could be interesting. Yeah, we're looking to see what happened here to Thomas Rogers, who could very well be out of this race, is officially out of this race. Something's happened to Rogers that's taken him out of this race. And just watching through this last lap to see what happened. It's Rogers and Quito duking it out. This was near the back of the field. Rogers is trying to make some inroads. Oh, in the corner. And a hard impact with the tire barriers there. That's why the caution came out. So something happened that just spontaneously just let go of Rogers' car. And now we have a caution for the second time today here in Denver. So this caution comes at a really interesting time with the, obviously the pit window at that point had crossed over into like lap 25, lap 27. Now you're gonna see most of the field come down pit lane this time, but they're still gonna have a pit stop to make in this race later on. And what that means more importantly is that separation we saw at the front of the field is completely gone now. So now pit crews need to show their worth and try to make up some time there. And no one came down pit lane. Everyone's sticking the course on the strategy calls they're on right now. That's very interesting to me. Looks like a couple may have come in pit lane there. Yeah, the Glover came back down pit lane. Letty came down pit lane. There's nothing for them to lose at this point. May as well make that gamble. Car still lingering. That is Rex Riley. For Letty and for Glover, it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense for them to do this. Tires and fuel for both of those cars, they're going to be hot on it. They're going to be off sequence by a healthy amount, but I don't dislike the call. Take a gamble, see what happens, especially for Letty. There's nothing to lose at this point. You're so far back at this point, you're guaranteeing that things for at least a period of time in the short term will be in your favor. It's going to guarantee the mid part of this race is going to look really weird when pit stops do happen. Now I would say the pit stop window for the first time is opened up to about lap 27, lap 28. With these cars staying out the way they are, it's very fuel efficient right now. A lot of cars staying out here on pit lane, or staying out here from pit lane, I should say. It's going to be a very interesting restart when we get to it again. Denver Motorsports Park, for those that maybe are not versed on this track, first major racing facility in the state of Colorado since Pikes Peak International Raceway, which also at one point held World Championship events. So we're back in Colorado here at a purpose-built facility that is state-of-the-art and modern. Had rave reviews when we were here in 2021. Rain's still a threat. The more caution laps we run, the more danger we have in rain cutting this race off at the pass. Lights out now on the Chevy Camaro ZL1 pace car. Getting ready to go back green here. It's going to be interesting. So the field's frozen here. Not a lot of drivers came down pit lane except for Lecty and Glover. And Rex Riley came down pit lane as well. Looks like Keisha Fox came down pit lane too. But Keisha Fox is a lap down. And that mindset It is Velisevich, Kozlov, Porter, Kamaya, Draco, Michelin, Porter Kelly, Ishibashi, Lucero, and Von Sonnen in your top 10. Now the gaps are closed again. What do Porter Kelly and Draco and Ishibashi make of that advantage now that they can really kind of jump on some of the cars in front of them? That's the big question we get to figure out here, because all of the cars in front of the field have to make pit stops at some point. When do those pit stops happen? That's the next big question for them. It looks like a one stop is now possible with the amount of fuel that they've saved here under these 2 cautions that we've had so far. When, where, and how much does it cost them? Pace car is in green. Flag is back out. We're back underway here in Denver for the second time. Through turn 3, Kozlov really pounced there on Velisevich. Kamaya back in the mix of it as well. Really good charge deck there by Velisevich. Side by side, the rookies lead. Into this lap is the halfway point of this race. Velisevich holds on to the race lead. Here comes Porter. Porter to the front. Talk about the winless drought. We've talked about it. It's been a recurring theme for Porter. It's been talked about. Porter winless in the NAMRA Cup Series. Winless since 2016 in the Champ Car World Series. Last time Porter won a race, it was a photo finish race at the Lausitz Ring. Back in 2016. 7 years ago. And counting. And now Atomic Autosport have a 1-2. Draco up to 4th, got around Kamaya. Kamaya in 5th, Ishibashi in 6th, and they come in immediately on lap 25. A lot of cars down pit lane here. It's very bizarre there. It gives Porter the race lead, uncontested. Porter Kelly in 2nd, Jackson 3rd. And now you've got that is Petrovic and Glover. Glover, who, by the way, just had a pit stop under that caution, now looks like a genius. Petrovic now in front of the defending world champion Kinoshita. Then it's Fox, who's a lap down. Then you have Lecty still struggling with the damage on that 78 machine. Rex Riley further back. Then you have Wyatt Jones. A lot of cars leaving pit lane this time. Velisevich ahead of Draco, ahead of Kozlov. Then it is Ishibashi. Then you have the 42 of Kobayashi as everyone leaves pit lane. Slowly but surely, Porter leads the way. Sister is at the front of the field. Evangeline Porter leads the way right now. And comes down pit lane this time. Porter Kelly stays out. So Porter Kelly leading a lap here at Denver. Velisevich with the most laps led so far, 17 laps of the first 26. And now it's Striker Motorsports 1 and 2 with Glover in 3rd. Then Petrovic in 4th. Kinoshita 5th, Letty 6th. There's Draco taking on Velisevich here into the chicane. getting around here. Good move there. Draco around Velicevic. Porter leaving pit lane. Does Porter stay ahead of Draco? Is the next very interesting question here. It looks like it. There's Porter approaching turn 3 now. Yeah, very clearly ahead of Draco still. But Kozlov down another spot there with Draco now ahead of both of the rookie drivers there. Draco in contention to try to win a race. The strategy is all over the place right now. This is wild stuff. Porter Kelly in pit lane this time. Glover will take the lead over. Kurichenko stays out. Glover stays out because he just pit. Lefty also staying out here. Strategy is just 100% all over the place right now. It is a wild time in Denver. Side by side, there is Quito getting around Crane. Kunikita there behind Shufan Zhang. Kovalkiewicz getting around Lucero. Kobayashi getting passed there by Ishibashi, as Ishibashi gives pursuit after Kamaya. Kenosha leaving pit lane now, as is Petrovic. Ishibashi getting around Kamaya here. Big move. As Kobayashi also tries to get around Kamaya. Porter Kelly behind Porter. Porter's been passed by both Draco and by Velicevic on the warm-up to get those tires at the temperature. So Draco now leading the charge. There were some of the drivers that needed to come down pit lane still. Kurichenko back down pit lane. Glover and Lechty can wait it out a little bit. And they're going to have to. Let's switch back ahead of Draco. Really interesting fight here. Almost like opening up a time capsule behind Velicevic here. Let me see, they've all come down pit lane. Here comes Porter on Draco, former teammates. The gap was 45 seconds. That's about the pit window that you see here at Denver. 45 seconds to get the pit stop and back out on track. Porter ahead of Draco now. So there's some fight going on in this race. There is Kozlov in the mix as well behind Porter Kelly. Glover ahead of Lecty by 3 seconds. Right now, Riley a further distant 27 seconds adrift. We're going to see how this fight has really evolved here. Just looking and browsing through the field. Top 10 earmarked by Matthias Michelin. There he is in the Petrobras number 60, center of your screen there, ahead of Kamaya. Von Sonnen officially dumped out of the top 10 ahead of Kobayashi. Petrovic there in the 14th position. There's Kurachenko on cold tires trying to stay ahead of Kovalkiewicz. So 14th where Kurachenko ended up being slotted into there. Jackson ahead of, or Jackson trying to get ahead of Crane. Crane right now leading the duo, and now Jackson goes through. But there's Glover right now, center of your screen, leading the way. Lap car between him and Nicole Lecty, but still pulling the advance as things run. Max Riley, the wounded car, in between. In trouble as well. "20 laps to go in this race." Right now, Vulisevich racing for what could be the lead of the race. So many interesting strategy calls in play at the moment. We've had 2 cautions in this race, one on lap 1 and one on lap 21. Draco once again going after Porter to go after 4th place. He'll take 4th place. They are the pace setters, the fastest cars on track at the moment. Kozlov's gotten around Porter Kelly. Everyone trying to get around Rex Riley here. Rex Riley right now sitting in 3rd on lead lap still, but obviously wounded. You need to see that by looking at the 72 car at the moment. Doing everything they can to really hold on to that position there, but everyone going to make their way through pretty easily. And Kozlov with a mission. Got right to the back of Porter's gearbox. And through they all go. Porter lost a little time there to Draco, but Kozlov now back on pursuit will really kind of keep a fire under Porter to get back to those 2 as they get back onto the oval. And Kozlov's going to make no time getting around Porter here. 4th position. Draco's gotten around Vulisevich likewise. And they're going for it right now. car in pit lane. That is Glover. Glover in pit lane, but he's good to go for the rest of the race. That puts Lechty in the lead. But Glover's good to the end of the race. We don't know who else is. And that, I think, is a smart move. I think that's a very smart move for Glover right now. I think that works out really well. So let's switch back ahead of Draco. Draco now under pressure from Kozlov. Porter and Porter Kelly not far behind. Draco once again going after Velicevic here. This is becoming an officially on-track battle for second, but this could be for the race lead. Lechty stays out. Draco leads over Velicevic, over Kozlov. Porter Kelly's got around Porter. Then you got Michelin further back. Ahead of Von Sonnen, there's Glover. Glover right there, still in the mix. Still very well and truly in the mix. Really good stuff there. Glover still out of Ishibashi as well. Just perusing the field. Kunikita going after Shufan Zhang there with Kenosha right there in front. Lucero going after Leroux for position there. Lucero and Leroux, that's battle for 17th. Five cars in this group, all battling for what could be the race win. That's very interesting to me, seeing how this race has really sort of played out here. Here comes Porter Kelly on Kozlov. As Velicevic holds on to second place. Porter Kelly moves forward. Lechty still out on track behind Keisha Fox. Keisha Fox, we know, has pace. Lechty using that pace to just use slipstream. But losing time. The gap is now less than 35 seconds between Lechty and Velicevic. The gap continues to come down. And we talked about it. More than 45 seconds to do a full stop. Closer to 48 seconds to do a full stop. That's the entire time you spend on pit lane. Then you have to actually get those tires up to temperature still, if you're Lechty. 48 seconds. Let's see. Let's give it an easy, 50 seconds just to be generous there, just to give some space on that. That puts Lechty down out of the top 15. That's big. That's huge right now. And for Lechty, that's still worth it, because Lechty before this was 21st. Wounded, struggling with damage, couldn't get past anyone. That's still a net positive for Lechty on a damage limitation day. But that's how far Lechty will drop from the race lead here. The biggest thing right now is that Lechty has led a lap, has gotten a bonus point for that, and has now led 4 laps in this race. Velicevic in second, has led the most laps so far in this race. Porter Kelly has gotten ahead, as well as Kozlov of Draco. Milosevic pulling a little bit of a gap. Kozlov and Porter Kelly battling it out here for third at the moment. Porter Kelly really fighting right now with Kozlov, with Draco and Porter. It almost feels like a little bit of a blast from the past. Obviously Kozlov, a rookie, same with Milosevic, but these are three drivers that have been in this series for a while with Porter Kelly, Porter, and Draco. Really putting up scenes of 2016 and 2017. Whoa! It was close between Porter Kelly and Kozlov. I almost watched Porter Kelly get turned in that chicane. Luckily avoided that. Good car control between the two of them. But that is coming in hot. And Kozlov's like, okay, time's up. Understandably so, time's up. Milosevic is beginning to walk away. So Kozlov has decided to take the imperative to try to lead them back to Milosevic. Or leave them behind so they can fight amongst themselves. Either or. And Kozlov, last time we were here in 2021, Kozlov finished second to the eventual race winner, Siri Lundqvist. Kozlov would love to correct that. That was Kozlov's first race in Champ Car. Obviously, Kozlov ended up winning the race in Fontana in the 2021 season. That was the year that Hazel Lacasse won her championship. Kozlov now trying to chase down Milosevic here. Porter Kelly still in pursuit, but they've pulled away from Porter and Draco, who've created a battle of their own. In this fight. There's Lechty, still out on track. But alone in that process. Keisha Fox has come down pit lane. Does Lechty come down pit lane? No, Lechty stays out. Gav is down right now as of last lap, 27.9 seconds. It'll be less than that now when Milosevic crosses the line this time. Still a lot of racing going on here. Top five still battling it out here. There's Michelin in sixth. Right now, really in seventh, I should say. Michelin in seventh because Lechty has not yet come down pit lane. Ishibashi in 8th, Von Sonnen in 9th, then it's Kobayashi right now looking for a top 10. It'll be his first if he can hold on to it. Kamaya in 11th, Glover in 12th. And there's Glover right there. There is Petrovic there in the 13th position, Kurichenko 14th, Kovalkiewicz 15th. Get everyone in this fight. There's Ishibashi. Right now sitting in the 8th position ahead of Von Sonnen. Waiting for Lecty to make that pit stop. The issue is that we don't know if everyone that pit on that last caution there is good, or everyone that pit after the green flag from the second caution is good to go to the end of the race. Most of those drivers pit on that 25. If they didn't, they pit on 26. Lecty stays out alone. There's Velicevic, there's Kozlov back ahead of Porter Kelly. Draco's back ahead of Porter. Michelin kind of on his own on an island in 7th. Still a lot of racing to go here. 11 laps to go here in Denver. Right now, Velicevic will inherit the race lead once Lecty comes down pit lane. There's Nicole Lecty, the race leader that has led 8 laps so far in this race. Trying to lead even more. Lecty suck her teeth in this one. The strategy call that she is now alone on. Stays out another lap. She's going to run this thing until it absolutely runs dry. Not a bad call. I mean, again, she has nothing to lose in this process here. She was 21st before that pit stop strategy came into play. Now she's leading. Switch in second, closing in. The gap is now down less than 25 seconds. 23.9 to be specific. How about with Artyom Kozlov, what they've been doing to try to get themselves back in contention here? This would do that. If this cycles out the way they want it to, this will be exactly everything they wanted. But that requires them not having to make a pit stop here in the last 5 laps of this race. Storm clouds looming ominously over Denver. Again, we're in Aurora, Colorado. We are just east of Denver, of downtown Denver. Beautiful area here in Aurora. But the storms, they are coming. The issue is, do we have time to finish this race, or will the rain intervene in the dying moments? Very interesting questions here. Kozlov still battling with Porter-Kelly here in this fight. This fight for the podium's not over. Not even close to being over. Coming to 8 laps to go. Pressure is on. Again, we're looking here. There's Lechty rounding the last corner towards the chicane. Is it a pit stop this time for Lechty? No, staying out still. Wild stuff there. Car coming down pit lane was, I believe that was Shinichi Kamaya. It was Kamaya that came down pit lane. So someone made an early pit stop, could not make it on fuel, decided to bite the bullet early. Is that an omen for the rest of the field? We know Glover's good. Glover put on lap 34. Glover to the end of this race is flying. He could be a race winner in about 8 laps. He's another driver with a long winless streak too. Talk about how much it weighs down on somebody not having the season you're hoping. Glover's been that way for the last couple seasons. He's been tantalizingly close to race wins before. Since he's joined Team Impulse, he has been arguably in his best form, but it's been always so close, but not close enough, whether it's been to Kozlov, to Lacasse, to Ishibashi. He entered this race top 10 in points, but compared to his teammates, compared to Rogers, who also has been winless for the last couple years, compared to, you know, Kozlov, who's won Indy but has been well out of touch of the championship distance. Being so close but so far away is a very aggravating factor. His crash at Nazareth was almost assuming that he was done as far as him racing. He was going to finish out the season. He announced it, and then he was planning on stepping back. Matsuo said, believe in the process. As I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, talked to Asumi Matsuo. Matsuo talked to the press and said, hey, our bad year's 3 cars top 10 in points. That is a legitimate statistic. The Impulse that we have now, the Team Impulse team that we have there, is a world eater. They are a juggernaut, just like with Stryker. Stryker, who's obviously down right now, they have 3 cars just outside the top 10 with one of the worst platforms in the series right now because no one's been able to develop. There was a development freeze. Red Bull Highlight Racing on that exact same platform has a driver right now leading this race, trying to defend the championship lead. With 3 races to go in the season. It is chaotic and we love it. But for Glover, talk about little weight coming off the shoulders. He is in a car that is not 100%. That is a wounded car. He was involved in the lap 1 crash. He's been driving with it all race long. Strategy, something that's bit him so many times in his career, could finally shine a light on him here. It's all going to depend on what these next 6 laps mean for everyone else. Kamaya couldn't make it on fuel. He came in early. We know Lechty has a pit stop to make. Is everyone else that pit on lap 25 in danger of needing that pit stop? Lechty stays out 1 more lap here. Coming to 6 laps to go. This is going to be so interesting. So very, very interesting. Gap between Lechty and Velicevic, 19 seconds. Last lap, this time it's 18.3. Velicevic still gaining, and it's actually Kozlov now in second. As we browse back, there's the battle now for second place. Kozlov got around Porter-Kelly and has now gotten around Velicevic here. if they're good to go to the end of the race, this is your provisional podium as things sit. With Draco and Porter, with Andrew Draco and Evangeline Porter sitting 4th and 5th, if that's how things line up. Again, 6 laps to go. This track's almost 4 miles in length. It's a lot of fuel you need to save to make sure you can make to the end of this race. 4 cars out of this race: Thomas Rogers, Elise Alexander, Mia Valdez, and Esther Hofson. Those are the only 4 out of this race. We have cars a lap down: Rex Riley and Keisha Fox. And a huge question mark on fuel strategy. There comes Nicole Lechty in pit lane. And now the rookies, once again, will lead us around. Lechty led 13 laps in this race. And it will come to an end here. But she did everything that she could. That was the important mark there. Lechty made that 14, crossed the line at pit lane before Kozlov and Velisevich could make that pass. So Kozlov back out in front. With that change, with 5 laps to go, it guarantees that Velisevich has the points for the most laps led, 17 laps. If Kozlov leads 5 laps, it only gets Kozlov to 12 laps led. So Velisevich has the most laps led in hand as things run. Porter Kelly sitting 3rd, looking for a podium on her return to full-time competition. Talk about what that would be. Talk about the renaissance for the old guard. Porter Kelly and Draco looking at top 5s as this race goes along. But again, fuel mileage is the maker. Make or break here, and that is what makes this so intriguing. These last 5 laps, coming to 4 to go, so critical. Lechty last pit before her pit stop there. Last pit on lap 22. The drivers are looking at on your screen right now, pit on lap 25. 3 laps of difference. And they have not had the caution mileage on this tank of fuel like what Lechty had. Are they good or are they in danger? We're going to find out coming to 4 laps to go. Are they good on fuel? Is the gut punch question that we're asking right now. Car in pit lane. Who is in pit lane right now? That is Rex Riley in pit lane. Lap traffic. Top 3. Still clustered together. Draco's left, kind of leaned back a little bit, kind of backed off of it a little bit. Right now sitting in the 4th position, maybe fuel saving. Him and Porter maybe fuel saving. Former teammates working together at the moment. Could they be fuel saving to make it to the end of this race? Car in pit lane, Lechty, who came out of pit lane. We'll see where Lechty cycles out here in this process. So look here in this battle for the 4th position. Could they be saving fuel to try to go after the race win? Long-term strategies here. Top 3 knows the tail. Kozlov in the 3, Velisevich in the 13, Porter Kelly in the 10. Coming to what will be 3 laps to go. Velisevich, early run for the race lead here. Through ovals 3 and 4. Is there a pit stop incoming? No, not this time. Velisevich leads the way over Kozlov and Porter Kelly. I believe it's a car coming out of pit lane. Let's see. It's Kamaya. Nope, not a car coming out of pit lane there. This car is on the other side of the racetrack. Top 3 still sitting there. There's Porter and Draco battling 4th and 5th at the moment. Again, are they good on fuel? 3 laps to go. Very important questions to answer here. This is a 3.75 mile track. If you cannot make it, don't stay out because you may not finish the lap. This is not an oval where you can clutch and coast by any stretch of the imagination. Draco defended that 4th position brilliantly. Talk about a breath of fresh air for Draco here. Spent a lot of the year filling in for Dragon Motorsports. That team obviously not where they want to be development-wise. Draco felt that weight dramatically on his psyche, on his emotional investment. As I mentioned, he thought he was kind of over the hump. No, he's not. Not anywhere close to over the hump. Right now looking at top 5 in a car that they built in 2 weeks for this race. We'll see the 41 and the 31 at Captain Hart on track the next 2 weeks in California. 2 laps to go. Blisevich leads over Kozlov. Kozlov with a really good run, drafting all the way towards turn 3. Side by side, the rookies go. Future in Champ Car is really bright with these 2 rookies battling for the race win ahead of a 3-time world champion. Porter looking for a possibility to sort of mix it up with these 2 in the last 2 laps of this race. They're racing like they're good to go on fuel. We're going to find out if they are or not, because we're coming to the final lap. Obviously, the final lap still has 3.75 miles. We're still over 4 laps or 4 miles from the finish of this race. They have made their bed and they're resting in it. Glover ahead of Lecty, which is what we were expecting. Is this a short pit stop? Nope, they're staying out. This is it. This is it for Blisevich, Kozlov, and Porter Kelly. This is it. White flag in the air. 1 lap to go here in Denver. Kozlov leads over Blisevich, over Porter Kelly, with 1 lap to go. This is going to be a big moment for Blisevich. Huge chance to make a challenge here. Still several passing opportunities left in this lap. Turn 3 wasn't it. Through turn 4, now towards 5 and 6. Blisevich has to be very aware of where to make this pass happen. These 2 have been so evenly matched all race long. Down through the S's. Porter Kelly a little bit further behind, pretty well secure for 3rd. Oh, Blisevich is right there in the mix. This is for the race win between 2 of the brightest futures in Champ Car. Out back onto the oval. Does Blisevich have enough to challenge for the race win, or will Kozlov grab another one? A lot of gap coming to the chicane for the last time. Blisevich sends it in. Will it be enough? Out towards the checkered flag. Artyom Kozlov, 2nd win of the season. They win at Denver over Blisevich and Porter Kelly. They take the fuel mileage race in style. It's a race win for Kozlov to really help secure things in the point standings, but Blisevich staying right on Kozlov's heels. Make sure that there's still a firm grasp on that Rookie of the Year conversation. Porter Kelly back and in full swing, finishing third place. A podium for Porter Kelly on return. And talk about this battle. We didn't see a lot of it. We didn't see enough of it because there was so much going on here at the front of the field. Evangeline Porter beats Andrew Draco. But for Andrew Draco, talk about a breath of fresh air, being able to contend for top fives and for podiums once again on a team where he won his championship in 2020. He's back home. Top five for him. Michelin in 6th. Sakura Ishibashi in 6th, or in 7th, excuse me. A good run of form, good recovery there for Ishibashi. Kage Kobayashi in the 8th position. Then it's BK Glover getting in 9th position. Had the right strategy. They had to gamble that drivers could not make it on fuel. With Kamaya coming in, it seemed that that was a possibility. Only so much you can do with a wounded car. Glover maximized the opportunity at 9th place finish for Glover ahead of Von Sonnen. A top 10 for Anastasios Von Sonnen over Natalia Kurachenko, who finished 11th, Alicia Kovalkiewicz 12th, Marcus Petrovic in 13th. You see that giant cluster of cars there. Then it's Simona Leroux and Nicole Lecty. Lecty ended up in 15th, right where we predicted Lecty would be when that pit stop was made. Bianca Lucero in 16th, Shufan Zhang 17th, Asada Kito in 18th. Then it's Kunikita and Jackson rounding out the top 20. Kunik Kinoshita, the championship lead keeps falling further and further and further from her grasp. 21st, I had a Wyatt Jones, Shinichi Kamaya on 23rd, 24th, Asher Crane, the last car on the lead lap. Just riding on board there with some of the cars here as they reach Parc Fermé. Keisha Fox and Rex Riley, the last two cars running, 25th and 26th here at Denver. Retirements: Thomas Rogers, Elise Alexander, Mia Valdez, Esther Hobson, rounding out this 30-car field tonight. Let the rain pour, let the rain come in bunches here now. The race we've gotten in its entirety. An exciting one at that. Artem Kozlov wins the Grand Prix at Denver over Natalia Velisevich and Stephanie Porter Kelly. Importantly, Nicole Lecty holds on to the World Championship lead. It has been significantly reduced. 2 races remain. Next week will be in Night City for the first of 2 races in California to end the season. Arasaka Arena brings all the action next weekend. On behalf of everyone here for ABN Sports, for the AT&T Champ Car World Series, for Horizon Corporation, and everyone here at Denver Motorsports Park, thank you so much for spending your day with us. We'll see you next week in Night City. Till next time, so long, everybody.